Sword Art Online, an anime franchise that has been terrorizing the anime community for years on if it's bad or if it's good. So, today, I'll be giving my opinion on the series, and to be more specific, the first arc of the series, the Aincrad arc, and I plan on discussing the other arcs at a later date. For a general background, SAO was one of the first animes I've ever seen, so it does hold a special place in my heart because of that. Though it does have some obvious flaws, which we will jump into first, because I like talking about the bad before getting into the good. This is like a really nitpicky thing to start off with, but I really dislike when the characters use internet speak. Like, it gets me mad for a good half second every time I hear them say IRL or some other type of online verbiage. Like, who talks like that face to face? It's only used when talking over text or a message board or anything like that. It's not person to person, you know? Anyways, it's just a minor thing. I also think a pretty big flaw for this show is the side characters don't get a lot of depth in this whole thing. Like, someone we meet really early in the series, Klein, in the first episode, by the way, he doesn't really do much besides show up at random times, helping out Kirito. Like, why can I not learn more about Klein? Besides, he just wants to help Kirito, and he has a guild, and it doesn't make much sense after he had such a great start. Like, why didn't they just keep on building up on the relationship between him and Kirito? Another character that really pisses me off with this whole not giving them more depth and everything is Elizabeth. They do a whole episode where she and Kirito go on a grand adventure. They go to a big mountain, which is cold as heck. They fight a big ice dragon. While that happens, they get trapped inside a little hole. We get some more character development between the two, get some good interactions and all that. And then they eventually get out and slay the dragon in this amazing little scene they had, you know, looking at each other and everything. It was really cool, really touching. They go into Elizabeth's blacksmith shop. Elizabeth makes this sword that's amazing for Kirito and all that, and then it just gets dropped and crushed because Elizabeth sees Asuna, who is Kirito's love interest in the show. She sees that Asuna's Kirito's thing, and it just ends. Boom. She's never seen again for the entire arc. It's never built up upon. Besides, she pretty much just gives up. And it's like, why would you waste all that time building this character, building this relationship, just to completely drop it in the same episode and never come up into it ever again? It makes no sense to me. None. Also, my biggest problem with this arc is that the main villain, Akihiro, had no true reason why he put all the players into a death trap of epic proportions. He seemingly forgot. Like, how do you forget what you did? That legit makes no sense. Like, maybe it was like something minor, like, oh, I forgot to drop the keys there or something. But no. Like, this game had to be in development for like at least like 10 years with how much content and the graphical capability this thing had, while also running very smoothly. To have that much commitment to a project, you had to know damn well why you did it. You just don't spend that much time on a whim. Like, there was so many easy answers they could have given, and it would have been fine, even though it was so cliched. Like, I just wanted to see people die/suffer, or I was doing a scientific experiment to see how people would react in stressful situations, or it was an accident, so I just rolled with it for a while, or it was secretly a show where rich people saw you fighting for your life. Like, anything, and I mean anything, would have been better than the answer that they gave, which was, I just forgot. That's just one of the main flaws of SAO is Akihiro has no real scheme or reasoning, and it does plague the show in farther spots down the line, a couple of spots here in this arc, and it is a theme with just SAO, just spotty writing and all that. I will completely admit that here. And it leaves you wanting greater goals from some of the characters, deeper depth with some of the minor characters, not named Kirito, which you just don't get really for the whole series, which is baffling to me because there's some really cool, I would say, like, baselines for the character. You see the baselines, you just want to see what's more about the character, because there is some intrigue, like when you first meet them, just they don't build up on it. Now that I talked about what's bad about the series and its flaws, this is what I really like about SAO, and more specifically this arc. I like Kirito's journey from start of the show, where he shows truly he does care about people, but he is honestly just too scared to go to the lengths to always go out and show it to protect the people that he likes and cares about. We see him fail to protect the leader of the first dungeon boss, Devel, I think that's how you say it, because he was just too late in noticing the attack pattern change, and if he could have realized sooner, he might have been able to save his life. We also see him fail to protect the Moonlight Black Cats, because if he just spoke up about it being a bad idea to go into that dungeon, that would have been their doom. He would have saved them and they would have been alive, but because he didn't do that in a good job or manner, he did do it, but not really well. If he just did what he should have done, they would have been living, they still would have been alive, they still would have been fighting and smacks. I mean, Kirito and them probably are still in a guild, having a blast, and already won the game or whatever. But no, he got them killed because he was just a little scared about it, scared of speaking up. Eventually, by the end, Kirito builds up strength and wants to protect everybody, and will now go to great lengths to do it. He was fully prepared to sacrifice his life so that the 6,000 other players could finally leave this torture of a world. I think another good thing about SAO is just the themes it presents. Like Kirito, even though he hates being in groups and guilds for the majority of the time, because he likes being solo and will stand and fight for something he believes in, don't matter how uphill it can get. Like he fights Akira 2 times, he gets destroyed both times, because he just straight up cheats to win, because he can turn on auto assist that players can't, and he has a shield which is mega strong that you just can't get damage in through it. Though at the same time, Kirito does win because he just won't flat out take the L to the system, and will at least take you down with him, which is commendable. The theme shows is a sense of fighting as a system, try to forge your own path, and you don't need to follow everyone else's route, like joining a guild in Kirito's case. Also, my favorite reason I really like this arc is just the bond Asuna and Kirito share. I think this show is less about fighting and trying to survive till the end, it's more about love. Kirito and Asuna have a relationship that I think is really fun to follow, and is the main highlight of the series. Like, there isn't a lot of drama and attacking between the two, besides the beginning where they had a little argument. It's just two people who like each other, and honestly, it's really refreshing to see. You don't need a dude to get knocked out by somebody who's a total bitch, or be completely oblivious to everything to be lovable. It's a relationship type that I would compare to July and April between Mizuno, please say I pronounced that right, and Saki. Now, there's some things that people just go in about SAO and try to point out that is bad and beat it to a point like a dead horse. For one, is the writing, the plot holes, and time skips that make a series footage disjointed. Now, for this, I think people watch this arc in the wrong mindset mostly, and this goes for fans and non-fans of the show. The way the show's designed is to be a jumping off point for the other arcs. Mostly, everything is done to set the basis for everything else. Like, I'll give a few examples here. Kirito gets built up like a beast because the point in the future arcs is he's supposed to be a legendary player in gaming because of what he did in SAO. Without him being this great player in this arc, the later arcs wouldn't make that much sense because he would just be a normal player, and it make no sense if he's a legendary player if he was a normal player in SAO. He needed to have a story or a real legend, a legend of Kirito, if you want to call it. Then they built up a group called Laughing Coffin that you see being mentioned and tossed around a few times till we finally meet them face to face. Asuna does kill one of the members, but they do make a return later in the series. And without the initial story of them in this arc, their impact and feeling just wouldn't carry as much weight. Because Laughing Coffin as a murder group is a good idea to really establish that these guys are sick, heartless bastards that wouldn't care to end innocent lives. Now, there are obvious flaws in the writing, but I think that goes for most shows. If you really sat back and thought about everything from one of your favorite shows, you'd be like, damn, why didn't they just do insert thing here when they really should have done insert thing there? I just feel like people harp on SAO a little too much. There's some far more egregious shows with shaky writing. Now, this is really from Mother's Basement point where you harped on the scene where Yui died and Kirito hacked this system to make it an endgame item. Yes, I agree. Kirito shouldn't be able to hack like he's a master programmer, because obviously that doesn't make sense. He wouldn't know the source code, and even if he did, it would take a lot longer to make something, at least longer than 10 seconds. But let's just chalk that up to anime logic, whatever. Now the thing is, Kirito made Yui an endgame item, but it's only locally on his nerve gear. This most likely would mean if Kirito did actually die, Yui would die with him because it's only stored from his machine and being constantly uploaded into the world from it. Now another thing he claims is that since Kirito could do that, he could have set it up so everyone else could log out. I disagree with this claim. Seeing that Kirito can only affect things from his own perspective, Kirito could probably only make it so he can log out and not anybody else. Now if he was selfish, yes, this would be an obvious decision for him to do, but he thinks it's his duty to go out and protect everybody, and most importantly, Asuna. So yeah, I just want to talk about the first arc of SAO, a couple of things I like and dislike, and one point I really didn't get and I just wanted to talk about a little bit, and I'll probably talk about the others sooner rather than later. I think there are obvious flaws of the show, but I think it's a decent story that gets a lot of hate for no real reason. Is it amazing? No, obviously not. But is it one of the worst anime I've ever seen? Or is it even bad? No, I don't think so. It's just okay. It's just mediocrity, you know, it's alright. It's not bad, it's not great, it's just And there's nothing wrong with being or okay, you know? Not everything has to be freaking JoJo or Attack on Titans or something like that, okay? There's decent shows and okay shows, and that's just what it is. It's an okay show. Anyways, I'm Nozaki. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.